Alright, what's going on everyone on YouTube? Benny S. Roller. Welcome to a brand new DVD and Blu-ray update. Got a good stack of stuff going, so I figured we'd come do an update so I could throw it back onto the shelf. So I guess let's get started. I got 2 Blu-rays and stack of DVDs. So first film we got here was sent to me by Olives and Slasher Video. This is the first collaboration together, and it's a really interesting film, and that is Satan's Blade from the year 1984. I know it was directed in like 1980, but yeah, this is the first release partnered between Olive and Slasher Video, and this is a really obscure slasher from the VHS era. It doesn't really do much of anything new or original, to be completely honest, but it has some interesting things going on in the film overall. Importantly, it has some pretty interesting and likable characters, which many slasher films, especially low-budget films that were made, you know, this movie was made for $500,000, usually don't have. So to be able to have some likable characters and people that you actually enjoy is nice in a film like this, I would have to say. I think if the film had some dull characters that were boring and not really interesting, I think the film could have felt flat extremely fast. But the fact is that you have some likable characters and things like that. I think the film really, you know, carries itself well. Like I said, it's not a perfect film. It's not even a, you know, great film. It's a good film. It's an enjoyable film. Film opens up to follow this bank robbery that's occurring, and we follow the robbers to this cabin. And they get murdered by this, you know, this magical being that we don't see who it is. Then we, you know, jump forward. I think it's like the next day, and we're following 2 groups of people who are going up to this local ski resort where the cabin where the murders took place to spend the weekend away. And these are the characters I was talking about before. And they are told about the murders that happened the night before, and how the cabin where the murders occurred is the only place that's available, of course. And of course, as you guys could probably expect what happens, they accept, and then we watch them just do nonsense for about 40 minutes or so. And this is the part that I think is really important, that the film has enjoyable characters, because watching, you know, half an hour to 40 minutes of these characters talking about stupid shit that makes no sense, you know, is important. And definitely is able to carry that for what it's worth. So as we get closer to the kills, it's generic slasher stuff, you know, just knife stabs and things like that. It's not anything really interesting, and the ending reveal is not anything mind-blowing either. But overall, you know, it's an okay film. I wrote a pretty okay lengthy review on this over on the 22 Shots of Moods and Horror website. I'll put the link down below if you want to read my written review, which goes a little bit in depth in some of the problems and things like that. But overall, it's a really great release by Olive and Slasher Video. The PQ, the picture quality is really fantastic. They really cleaned this film up, especially for what, you know, what it had and what they were able to do with it. You know, I have to give them credit by that. The sound, on the other hand, is a pretty rough example of audio, I have to say. I understand. I can't really blame Olive or Slasher on the audio, because I would assume that the original, you know, negatives and print materials that they had to work with were probably in rough shape as it is. So I can't really put the blame on them on that one. But support Slasher and Olive and pick this movie up so more films get released by them, because I think there could be some really interesting things coming in the near future. This film sells well, and by what I've been hearing from the community and things like that, that people are really hyped up about this one. So if you guys get the chance, support Olive and Slasher, pick this up. So yeah, that's Satan's Blade. You know, it's your typical 80s VHS, you know, low budget boom mics in the shot type of thing. So yeah, Satan's Blade. Alright, I actually got a package from my good friend Mr. Moods, and he sent me two movies and a T-shirt. He sent me a Pieces T-shirt that I wore a few days ago that's in the wash, so I couldn't wear it to show you guys, but I'll show it to you sooner or later. You'll see me wearing it. So he sent me Pumpkinhead, the Scream Factory Blu-ray. Yeah. So you guys probably know I'm too cheap to usually pick up these Scream Factory releases, and I pretty much build a pretty okay collection just from, you know, trading people for stuff and, you know, Mood sending me things and things like that. So it's cool that he sent me Pumpkinhead, you know, a really, really awesome film. I know JP loves this movie, and I enjoy it too. It's fun. It's cheesy and it's good, you know, creature feature, if you want to see that. Goodness. So yeah, Pumpkinhead, Scream Factory Collector's Edition. I luckily got one with the slipcase. Yeah, everybody's talked about this already. It's been out for like 6 months already by now, if I stand corrected. So Pumpkinhead, thank you Moods for sending me this. Very awesome. Whole bunch of special features on there. So yeah, Pumpkinhead, another Scream Factory Blu-ray 2D collection. Alright, the next, pretty much everything else is from Family Video from, you know, this month. I usually go the first week or, you know, first 10 days of every month and pick up all the new stuff that they have. So first, of course, these are all $1.50. First we have As Above, So Below. It's put out by Universal. You know, people were talking about this movie quite a bit when it got released, you know, theatrically. And, you know, there's pretty good buzz about this movie, to be completely honest. For what it is, for a found footage film backed by a studio, you know, you usually know what you're going to get when you see that. But this movie actually does some pretty interesting and original storytelling, I have to say. So we basically followed this archaeologist who is trying to solve this, you know, this mystical story about this stone titled the Sorcerer's Stone. And her father hunted for this stone now because he died, so now she's trying to find it. And they get a lead that it may be actually under Paris in the catacombs. And they go down there to try and find it. And you guys probably guess stuff starts to go wrong. And it's just them trying to find the stone. This film's setting is really, really fantastic. I think that's the main thing that everybody talks about when they, you know, when they hear about this type of movie. And it's a really, really kind of, you know, claustrophobic, tight setting. Not like as much as Crawl or Die tight, but it's really, really, you know, close. And you know, once again, with these movies that are, you know, shot in, you know, small spaces, they never have any interesting special features on them, and that's a shame. This is the same thing. It has like a 3-minute featurette on it, and it really doesn't show you much about how they filmed it, which is unfortunate, because I would love to see how they got the cameras into these tight spaces. You know, I probably know they probably rigged it and things like that, but, you know, when this is shot in the actual catacombs underneath Paris, I mean, you only have so much you could do, so I would love to see how they would have got all the lights and electric and all that stuff down there. I know there's probably stuff down there, but if you use generators and things like that, it's probably not a good idea, so I would have been interested to see how they would have filmed down there, but overall, really, really good found footage film, to be completely honest. Probably one of the best, definitely in the top 5 best found footage films I've seen, especially one backed by a studio. So, if you guys want a good found footage film, check out As Above, So Below. I think it's worth it. Really interesting story, and some likable characters, good lighting, everything you need to have a okay movie. So, As Above, So Below, put out by Universal. So that was $1.50. Happy, that was a good pickup. I was happy with that one. Next we have Sanatorium. This is an After Dark original movie. Haven't got around to check this one out yet, but you know, it takes place in a, you know, mental hospital, and you know me with my mental hospital films. You know, those are my favorites. So, so I'm curious to check this one out. This is my last week of school, so I should have a little bit more time to start to check out some of these movies. So, Sanatorium, you know me and my pronunciation. I can't, you know, say much. You know, I can't pronounce crap. So, Sanatorium, yeah. All right, next. I was surprised this was already dropped, and this I only found it at one place. The House is October Built, put out by Image. You know, this movie had a really, really interesting premise. And, it's a found footage film. We follow this 5 friends who get in an RV, and they're trying to go to the most extreme haunts in America, and it's all shot on location in all these different haunts spread across the country. And I'm pretty adept to the craft of haunted houses. I'm during October. I'm usually at 2 a weekend, so I go to a good 8 or 10 every year. So I'm pretty well adapted, especially around in Chicago. It's quite a hopping place for haunted houses. So I've been to my fair share of haunted houses. So to see some of these other houses in different states and things like that was really an interesting thing. And there were some really interesting ones with stuff that I've never seen before and things like that I would be pretty interested to see, if I was able to go to these houses and things like that. So it's pretty much just a documentary about haunted houses with a little bit of a narrative splashed in between it. The first house they go to, there's these 5 characters that we see on the back, and there's a confrontation between the haunted house owner and the group of characters. And they just leave, and the characters start popping up into other houses, afterwards. And they keep going, and they go to this one house, and they hear about this haunt. I think it's like Blue Lagoon or something like that. I think it's Blue Lagoon. And that takes place in New Orleans. So they go down there, and they have to do all this stuff to, get into this house, and, this really low-budget, extreme house. And they get there. 10-minute sequence, stuff starts to go around. It's really much all the narrative we have in this last 10 minutes, like fictional narrative in this last 10 minutes. And the ending, I know people have the problem with this ending of this film, and it just ends. Not a good ending, I have to say. It's not the worst thing I've ever seen, but it just ends, and it doesn't really make sense for what the rest of the film was trying to get at. Little gore and stuff like that. Barely any. No kills. Real kills. But, if you're into haunted houses and you'd like to see, different haunted houses, across the country that you may not have a chance to see, check it out just for that. But, if you want a narrative story, you're not going to get much on this one. So, the house is October built. Like I said, for me, I love my haunted houses, so I was going to go ahead and check it out anyway. Put up my Image, so you know what you're gonna get with Image. It's either hit or miss. So that is The House is October Built. This is another one Moods sent me. It's a movie called Seventh Day. This movie's really interesting. It's a low budget film, and we follow our main character. I watched this a while ago, so I can't really remember. Oh, Alan. We follow Alan. And, he's an interesting person. He works at this job, and, he's a little bit of an introvert, well, more than a little. And he gets into this habit of killing people and murdering them in, not an interesting way, but, he starts murdering people. And as time goes on, we follow him through 7 days, is the title. And more we start to learn about Alan's story and his back story and his mental state and things like that. It's a really interesting character piece. I know Moods really enjoyed it. I thought it was good. It wasn't. I don't think I liked it as much as Moods did, but it's refreshing to see a character piece like this, especially on the indie scene. So, if you guys want an interesting serial killer character study, check this movie out. It's okay. Like I said, support the low-budget cinema, so Seventh Day. Thank you, Moods, for that one. Alright, these I just picked up yesterday. Finally grabbed Starry Eyes. Had to grab $1.50. I've been waiting to see this one drop. This movie got a lot of talk last year, and both my co-hosts, Moods and JP, said it was pretty damn good, so I'm excited to check this one out. It's supposed to be an interesting look into actors' lives in Hollywood. Next we have ABC's of Death 2, put out by Magnet. I watched this when it first came out on demand, and I wasn't too surprised or shocked with it. I really didn't like it, to be completely honest. I thought a lot of the stories were bad, but there were some good ones, and some interesting and original ones, I have to say, especially the last the last short, the last letter of the alphabet, was really, really interesting and really original, actually. So I'm curious to see where that story goes. I'd be interested to see a future or a longer extended short on that letter. So I didn't like this very much, but I picked it up anyway just to give it a rewatch, maybe later on down the road, or to watch the special features. I think just for the special features alone, it was probably worth what I paid for it. So curious to check this one out again. Watch the special features. So ABC's of Death 2, put up by Magnet. Next we have Mockingbird, another studio supported film, Universal and Blumhouse. This movie, is known for having a piss poor ending, like one of the worst endings in recent memory. So I know both JP and other people that I talked to on the Facebook page said that it's just horrendously bad, the ending of this movie. So I'm curious to see for myself how terrible it is, because you guys know me with bad things. I don't stomach it well. So curious about this one. It's Mockingbird, put out by Universal and Blumhouse. We'll see. Not much hope out of what people have been telling me on that one. Alright, next we have Exist. I've heard really, really great things about this one. It's a found footage film about, some Bigfoot type creature. It's from freaking Eduardo Sanchez, who did Blair Witch Project, so you know what you're going to get. I'm excited to check this one out. I grabbed a copy from Moods also, because he's been bugging me about this one. He's been wanting to see it and can't find it up there in the foreign land of Canada, so had to grab it for Moods also. So it's Exist. Yeah, I'm curious about this one. Oh yeah, next we have No Malone. If you guys listen to the show, this is a running joke for us that this movie is really, really funny and goofy. So I'm excited to check this one out. I mean, look at good old Fern back there. It's just hilarious, funny as hell. So curious to check this one out. No Malone. I've heard it's pretty terrible, but Mood said it's just cheesy goodness, and Mood's taste. He likes a lot more stuff than I do. So we'll see. But I had to grab it just because I've been wanting to check it out for a little bit now. So No Malone. The title. I grabbed The Guest, finally released by Universal. This movie's fucking amazing. I saw this. Actually saw my school brought it to my school for an advanced screening. Like a month before the movie came out, and Wingard was there and things like that. So I saw this a long time ago. Well, not like 6-7 months ago, October, let's say. About whenever it came out, a month before release. So I just think that's October, but this movie's awesome. It's so good and interesting and fun. Wingard, he's gonna have a good career, I think, from what we saw so far, with the kind of movies that he's done. I think he's doing like the new Death Note movie, which is of course based on the anime series, which I know a little bit about anime, but not too much. But that's one series that I hear everybody say it's pretty good. So The Guest, put out by Universal, awesome. That's why I had to give Universal credit that they support a lot of these independent horror films. If I ever got the chance to distribute a movie by one of the big studios, I would probably go with Universal, because they really, really support the horror scene more than most studios. Actually more than any of the studios. So I gotta give credit to Universal a little bit for supporting the horror, to keeping the horror moving a little bit in Hollywood. So next we have The Mule. This is a Macabre Presents Australian film. I've heard nothing but good things about this film. It's not too much horror, but from what I've talked to people about that, it's actually a lot of fun and interesting. So Macabre, so I pick up all their films. So The Mule. Alright, next we have A Date with Ghosts. This is a Wild Eye releasing movie. Haven't got around to watching this yet, but it's supposed to be found footage, so we'll see. $1.50. I'll give it a shot. Alright, grabbed this for $6, but you guys are probably like, crap, he spent $6 on a movie, that's not like him. But I had to grab it, considering it's out of print, and not the easiest thing to find, and for $6, I had to grab it, and that is the Return of Spinal Tap. Yeah! This came out in like the late 90s, if I stand, not the late, like the mid-90s, if I stand corrected. And it's just more Spinal Tap stuff, you know, new interviews and things like that. So I had to grab this. Like I said, it's out of print. You could get it on Laserdisc pretty easily, but to have the DVD, you know, it's pretty cool. So I had to grab that for $6, just because it's an oddity and you don't see it often. First time I've ever seen it. So Return Spinal Tap, yeah. So that's everything, folks. I hope you liked this update. If you guys did, please give it a thumbs up. And as always, you can follow me on Twitter and YouTube. See, I'm so used to doing the podcast ending that you know. If you want to follow me on Twitter, you can do so, twitter.com/NESRealer22. As always, you can follow me on the 22 Shots of Moods and Horror Facebook page, facebook.com. Search bar 22 Shots of Moods and Horror. And as always, you can read all my written reviews at the 22 Shots of Moods and Horror.com. It's 22 Shots of Moods and Horror.com. I have a review up there of Satan's Blade. I'll put a link down below. Go ahead over there and read it. And let me know what you think. You know, the more people that I have telling me what they think of my reviews, the better I can make them, and the more enjoyable I can make them for you guys. So thank you again, everybody, for watching, and I'll talk to you again soon with another update. See you guys.